In this video, I'm going to sit in a ludicrously expensive sim rig with a ludicrously expensive steering wheel using a ludicrously expensive virtual reality headset and tell you why you don't need to spend a lot of money on sim racing. Let's go!
Go! So, I mean, I have to say, VR and Formula 1 cars go together rather well. Being able to see your wheels, being able to see the track surface whizzing past you, it's truly, truly glorious. A bit of understeer, a bit of a wheel tap there. But the point of this video isn't to gloat at the supreme... Whoa, he's two-wheel stunt drive! At the supreme joy and amazingness that is VR driving. No, this video is about how you don't need to spend an absolute fortune on sim racing equipment in order to have a good time. And I have to say, going back in time to when I had I had a Momo Black, I had a Sidewinder before that, but going back in time to about when I had a Logitech G25, which is essentially the same as a Logitech G29 or G920 that you can get now. And I have to say, that wheel just slapped on a desk and plopped in front of a monitor with your pedals under the desk, some shoes on your wheelie chair so it doesn't go backwards when you push the brake. That setup basically allows you to enjoy the vast majority of what sim racing has to offer, or the most enjoyable components of sim racing. Now, VR is incredible. This FANATEC CSLE Elite and especially direct drive wheels are also absolutely incredible, and then put them onto a ridiculously solid cockpit like this SimLabs P1 cockpit. It is amazing, it's great, but at the end of the day, they're kind of just icing on top of the sim racing cake. It's a simple fact that if you've got a G25, G27, G29, T300, one of those wheels, which is still quite expensive, you're still talking 150 to 250 pounds, but once you've got one of those wheels, you know, you can pick up something like Race Room, you can pick up Assetto Corsa, Project Cars 2, maybe get into iRenting and burn some money on that, but you can really fully get into sim racing and enjoy the deeper aspects of sim racing. And what do I mean by deeper aspects? Well, and I would say the spongy underbody of sim racing and the most compelling part of sim racing that really gets me coming back is really this. For me, it's the online racing component of sim racing and the sort of community aspect of sim racing, in the sense of finding people to race against and trying to beat people that are a similar speed to you or similar skill level to you, and then battling them and having those high intensity side by side fights around circuits and trying to outwit each other. That aspect of sim racing is just so compelling and effectively infinite in terms of you're not ever, well, I've never got bored of that component of sim racing, and you don't need an expensive kit for that. The basic equipment will let you experience the crux of learning the tracks, learning your throttle and pedal inputs, learning how to sort of balance and counter steer a car. Sure, it might be harder with a G920 than a DD wheel, but you get the basic fundamentals of driving a car through a racetrack virtually with that equipment. And at the end of the day, driving simulators, the things that driving simulators can do as well as reality can essentially be achieved with that lower end entry level equipment. As I say, learning racetracks, racecraft, and that's about it. Learning tracks, breakpoints, racecraft, they're the things that simulators effectively do to the same level, if not better, than what you can have in real life, because in a simulator you can just keep doing things over and over again, and you can be exposed to insane talent, and you can put as much time in as you want and repeatedly do certain circuits to really learn the race lines and really learn how to smooth out your inputs and just get better at those underlying techniques. The thing that a simulator will never achieve is the actual raw experience of what it is to drive a real-world car. Even if you go rental go-karting, it's not... a simulator isn't even close to rental go-karting in terms of the actual experience. Whoa, Christ, we've lost it there. Snap oversteer. In terms of the experience of being sat in something that's moving, feeling the G-forces, literally throwing money into a fire, a simulator just can't capture that. It just doesn't come close. And I've used some really high-end motion rigs, and of course, as I say, we're using really nice equipment here. I've used direct drive wheels, the really nice VR headsets. Stuff like the Pimax with its really wide field of view, or the Valve Index here with its really good sort of general clarity and high frame rate. At the end of the day, it's just nothing like being in a real world vehicle. It's in many ways, it's utterly incomparable. And as much money as you throw at your sim rig and sim racing equipment, it's not going to be like real life or close. So what I'm saying is, don't spend any money on sim racing stuff. Just stick with your G920. Throw everything in the bin and be happy with the equipment that you've got, because it lets you get the fundamentals of sim racing. If in many ways it lets you get it in a more convenient way. Slapping your wheel in front of your monitor lets you just load up into a game, start playing. You don't have to have something that's taking up space in your room. You don't have to make sure your VR headset's up to date. You don't have to make sure that your that you've got a really high-end gaming PC that can run with 8x AA and 1.3 super sampling. You don't have to be aware of all the little nuances that come with trying to run a super high-end simulator. You literally have a monitor, a £600-700 computer, slap your wheel in front of it, and you're actually enjoying the core crux of sim racing. So yeah, throw all your equipment in the bin. It's not worth it. That's what I'm trying to say in this video. Now, of course, as someone that has a lot of sim racing equipment, you do get additional enjoyment and immersion from using the equipment, and from having a more solid sim rig does let you enjoy the force feedback more. High quality force feedback is more immersive, and I think it is more enjoyable spending that money on that equipment. But you really do have to be aware. You really do have to be aware of how much you're spending relative to the enjoyment that you're getting out of it. And it is very easy to just go down the never-ending rabbit hole of sim rig and equipment purchasing without fully thinking, oh, hang on, do I really need this? Of course, some of us are never going to actually be able to really drive any real-world. None of us watching this, I doubt it, maybe like 1 out of 10,000 people or so, will ever get the chance to drive a 90s Formula 1 car. You'll certainly never get a chance to drive it on a 90s racetrack in a 90s situation. So the simulator, when combined with a DD and a VR headset, is going to be the closest you can ever get to it, even though it is miles away from it. So does that justify purchasing all the equipment to get as close as possible to something that can't exist? I don't know. I just don't know, guys. I don't know. But the point of this video, why I wanted to make this video, is that I just wanted to really put it out there that you don't need to buy expensive equipment to enjoy sim racing. And in many ways, just having the basic equipment is actually a really good way to go. And you shouldn't ever feel like, oh, this YouTuber's got loads of equipment, I need to aspire to have that. You don't want it. You don't want this life. You don't need it, and you don't want it. Sure, if you go down that path and you enjoy getting that kind of equipment, you enjoy playing with it, you enjoy fiddling with stuff, great. Go ahead, use my FANATEC affiliate link. But don't feel pressured into it. Just be happy with your monitor and your G25. It's a life of peace, quiet, and for the most part, the same enjoyment as what people with a ton of equipment are getting. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think it's really worth going down the path of getting equipment and constantly upgrading and really feeling like you want to get more and more equipment? Or do you think it's better to just have a G29 or a T300 and just keep with that and just keep it simple? Do those of you with a lot of equipment regret having all the equipment? And do those of you without a lot of equipment, do you envy those with equipment? It'd be interesting to know in the comment section what people actually think and what's going on in the minds of sim racers. But yeah, there you go, guys. An interesting, thought-provoking video. Definitely get this mod. It's absolutely amazing. We're racing it on Wednesdays, so we'll be racing it tomorrow at 8 PM. You get the Ferrari and the Williams. The actual detail of the mod's fantastic. I have to do a separate video on this car. But yeah, until the next one, guys, thanks for watching this. Happy tea drinking, and goodbye.